Hello and welcome back to the Elsie version. Today we are in Revelation chapter 21. What just happened was the millennium and the defeat of Satan and the judgment right before the throne. So we're just going to hop right into verse 1 of chapter 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. I think it's very interesting that it specifies the sea was no more. Personally, I think the abyss and the sea may be correlated. And I saw the holy city, not to be confused with the great city, that's Babylon. There's two different big cities. New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Potentially this is spiritual phrasing for actually Christians, because it is possible, right, that it's a city, but it seems odd. It seems more likely that out of heaven we descend, right? Verse 3, and I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away. And he who was seated on the throne said, behold, I am making all things new. So this is God. And he said, write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. And he said to me, it is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give from the spring of water of life without payment. So that's salvation. The one who conquers will have this heritage, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. But as for the cowardly, the faithless, the detestable, as for murderers, the sexual immoral, sorcerers, adulterers, and all liars, their portion will be the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. So he names 8 things here. And these are the identities of these people: cowardly, faithless, detestable, murderers, sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and liars, which is the second death. Okay, verse 9. Then came one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls full of 7 last plagues, and spoke to me. We got 7 more bowls of 7 last plagues? Daggum. No. This is the same angel from before. There's no more plagues. I miswrote that. Who had is past tense. Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great high mountain and showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven with God, having the glory of God, its radiance like most rare jewel, like a jasper, clear as crystal. It had a great high wall with 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and on the gates the 12 names of the 12 tribes of the sons of Israel were inscribed. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And the one who spoke with me had a measuring rod of gold to measure the city and its gates and its walls. The city lies 4 square, its length the same as its width. And he measured the city with his rod, 12,000 stadia. Its length and width and height are equal. So this is strange, because it's talking about Jerusalem as a city, but the bride, the wife of the Lamb, is Christians, how Christ loves the church. So in this sense, it's referring to Jerusalem being the church. But the church is not a building. The church is made up of people. All right, verse 17. He also measured its walls, 144 cubits by human measurement, which is also an angel's measurement. That's interesting. I think that's interesting that he puts that little phrase in there, you know. The wall was built of jasper, while the city was pure gold, like clear glass. The foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with every kind of jewel. The first was jasper, the second sapphire, the third agate, the fourth emerald, the fifth onyx, the sixth carnelian, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, the 12th amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, each of the gates made of a single pearl. And the street of the city was like pure gold, like transparent glass. I think it's funny that people call heaven the streets of gold when that's not literally. We're talking about Jerusalem here. And I saw no temple in the city, for its temple is the Lord God, the Almighty, and the Lamb. And the city has no need of sun or moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives its light, and its lamp is the Lamb. But its light will the nations walk. By its light will the nations walk, and the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it. And its gates will never be shut by day, and there will be no night there. They will bring into it the glory and the honor of the nations, but nothing unclean will ever enter it, nor anyone who does what is detestable or false, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. Okay, that's the end of chapter 21. Little confused, gotta be honest, because there's a lot of pictures happening here, but you also have to realize there's metaphors happening. Metaphors that don't make sense to my brain. Because we know who the bride is. It's capitalized. This has to be the church, right? But then it talks about a city. But maybe verse 10 and 11 is the church, and then it goes into like the city. But the fact that there's no temple in the city, for its temple is the Lord God, the Almighty, and the Lamb. So it's confusing because Jerusalem is not the bride of Christ. That would be contrary to literally the entire book and everything in the Bible. But this is we're the new Jerusalem, the new holy city. Now the holy city was only holy because that's where the temple of God was, right? So maybe it's like a metaphor for the fact that we are all temples. Walking temples. We are all like holy cities. I don't know, guys. Because it says, and on them were the 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So it's like, it's very both. It's very both. I don't understand. I don't know, guys. It's both. That's what I got for you today. That's what I have for you Monday. Tomorrow we're going to finish out Revelation with chapter 22. And then I will ask the Lord what we're supposed to go into next. So, anywho, that's it for today. And I will see you tomorrow.